Hello and welcome. My name is Corlith, your host, and this is how to play Descent with the Road to Legend expansion. In this segment, I will examine the character cards from the base game of Descent, Journeys into the Dark, that have been changed to make them compatible with the Road to Legend, as well as the ones that have ambiguous or confusing special abilities. Before we jump in, let's do a quick review of the card basics. Wounds identify how much damage the character must take before being killed. Fatigue identifies how many points the character has that can be used to improve attacks or increase movement points. Base armor identifies how much damage is reduced from incoming attacks. This number can be supplemented with worn armor and shields. Speed identifies how many spaces a character can travel in a turn. This value is doubled when running. Melee, range, and eldritch traits identify the base number of black power dice the hero gets in addition to the dice described on the weapon card when making an attack of that type. In this example, Trenlo gets 2 power dice when using a melee weapon, 1 when using a ranged weapon, and no power dice when using a magic item. Each hero has a special ability that sets him apart from the other heroes. Starting skills define how many cards the character gets to choose from at the start of the campaign, as described in the last segment. Finally, this is the conquest value. This is the amount of experience the Overlord gains when he kills this hero. Let's examine the characters that have had their special ability modified for the Road to Legend. Every time Isfer returns to the Terranoth world map, he regenerates to full health. This is in addition to his listed ability. Like Isfer, Red Scorpion also regenerates to full health when the party returns to the world map. Ronan of the Wild has a companion named Pico, who grants an additional power die to whomever he is with. In other words, whichever hero is carrying the Pico token. Naturally, Pico starts with Ronan of the Wild. Pico can be given to an adjacent hero at a cost of 2 movement points. As Pico is always carried, he has no movement points of his own. Carrying Pico does not count towards the number of items a hero can carry. Pico's bonus also scales with the campaign levels. At the copper level, he grants a black die. At the silver level, replace the black die with a silver die, and at the gold level, Pico's boon grants a gold die. Because the dungeons in the Road to Legend are smaller than those in Journeys into the Dark, Rune Witch Ostara has to be within 3 spaces of a glyph to activate it instead of her usual 6. Sir Valadier gains 2 power points per point of fatigue spent instead of the usual 1. He can choose to use these points to upgrade a power die to silver and gold level instead of adding an additional black die. For example, 2 fatigue are used, granting 4 power points. These points could be used as follows: get a black die, upgrade it to silver and then gold, use the 4th point to get another black power die, or get 2 black power dice and upgrade them both to silver, or upgrade the 2 black dice he gets when he's using melee weapons to gold, or any other valid combination. There is a restriction. Although using points to add new dice incrementally is allowed, using points to upgrade a die after it has been rolled is not. In short, you cannot upgrade a power die once you know the result of the roll. As usual, the maximum number of power dice a hero is allowed to roll in a single attack is 5. So, final example here, Sir Valadier makes an attack and rolls his dice, which includes the 2 black power dice that he is granted when using melee weapons. The result is good, but he wants to do more damage, so he spends a fatigue, gaining 2 power points per his special ability, and rolls 2 more black power dice. The foe is still alive, so he spends another fatigue. As 4 power dice have been rolled now, the hero may only add 1 more die, but as he gets 2 power points per fatigue, he takes the 5th die and upgrades it to silver, then rolls. Even if Sir Valadier had more fatigue to spend, 5 power dice are now on the table, so he may not purchase any more. This is the final result of the attack. Die rolling and spending fatigue will be fully covered in the upcoming segment dedicated to combat. Although the next 2 heroes didn't get any changes with the Road to Legend, their abilities are a bit ambiguous, so I've taken the time to review them. Let's start with Grey Cur. His ability is described as follows. Grey Cur can change his declared action as long as the new action can be legally carried out. I think the best way to explain how this ability works is with a couple of examples. At the start of his turn, he declares a battle action to perform 2 attacks on his target, but kills the target on the first hit. As no other target is in range, he changes his action to an advance so that he can move closer to another foe. effectively transforming the second attack into movement. Another good use is when it comes time to open a door. Grey Cur can declare a run with the intention of opening the door and then moving back. Upon opening the door, he discovers that the monsters are far enough away that he can attack safely. He changes his action to an advance, which lets him finish his movement and also attack once. Alternatively, he can spend 2 fatigue, paying the movement cost it took to open the door, and change his action to battle, which lets him shoot twice. This allows Grey Cur enormous flexibility when it comes to adapting to opportunities as they are presented on the battlefield. Similar to Grey Cur, Silhouette can change a readied order, but at a cost of 2 fatigue. A good example would be that Silhouette had readied a dodge order, but the Overlord's minions didn't attack her as expected. So she can spend the fatigue and change it to a guard order so that she can get a shot off. Better yet, if she is attacked, she keeps the dodge order to improve her survivability against all of the monsters. Just before the last monster attacks, she switches for a guard order so that she can get an interrupt attack in, giving her the benefit of a full turn of dodging plus an attack. She could also change the dodge order to aim just before her next turn begins, allowing her to battle with the advantage of one of the attacks being aimed. Alternatively, she can switch it to a rest order and recharge her fatigue pool if she were running a bit low. There is a reasonable amount of flexibility available with this ability. I've added Vyra the Falconer here because although his card hasn't been altered for the Road to Legend, I think it's appropriate to identify the companion's abilities with the character card. Skye has a movement speed of 5 and like all companions cannot be affected by monsters. Any monster within one space of Skye cannot aim or dodge and their armor is reduced by 1. Note that Skye is allowed to occupy the same space as an enemy. Like all companions, Skye takes his movement after the hero has performed all of his actions for the turn. The rest of the character cards are clear and don't need further examination. In the next segment, I will talk about the campaign levels in the Road to Legend. I found the website a fan-built tactical compendium to Descent. It's a good collection of Descent information that spans all of the expansions. It is located at descentinthedark.com and is definitely worth a look as it is an indexed and searchable resource. Thank you for watching and I will see you next time.